Hi, hello, hello. We are reading the new chapter of One Piece. This one is called The Will of Ohara. Okay, pretty crazy. Not the most crazy thing ever, but it's kind of like we had this little tiny hint at the Void Century. And by little tiny hint, I mean pretty big hint, but just a hint, just a hint. And it was a little unclear, okay, how much are we going to learn right now? How much are we going to go back to wacky robot adventures? Any number of directions the plot could go in for sure. But this confirms it, that we are actually diving into the Void Century in a way that links this new revelation that they used to be very technologically sophisticated to Ohara, the last remaining place on Earth that was studying it before it got Buster called in Robin's flashback. I've been thinking a lot about this idea that the Void Century is ancient technologies lost to time, beaten down by the world government and hidden away. And the more I think about it, the more I like it. And one big reason is actually on the cover of this right now, in the cover story. The Germa is back. They've rebuilt their roaming modular fortress, which is pretty exciting. I'm sure they're going to be a plot element. The Germans are a great example of like the really weird, jagged level of technical sophistication across One Piece, right? That a lot of places in the One Piece world are practically medieval, or maybe kind of like turn of the 19th century. They have like muskets and stuff with not really anything more sophisticated than that, and very just old technologies everywhere you see. There's no like cars or anything in a lot of places. And then other places they have like super advanced cloning labs and insane technological weapons, transforming suits that can make you invisible or give you superpowers. And I think the idea that there's these fragments of the Void Century, of this lost kingdom of D, that have persisted and are kind of just very scattershot in how well they're known and how well they're incorporated and stuff. Same with like sky technology, and then the biggest one that's been right under our noses the whole time, the Den Den Mushi. What in the world are the Den Den Mushi? They're like animals, but they do such sophisticated things through this unknown means of telepathy. They can do so many almost like magical things that are barely matched by our cell phones today. And then there's even these like weird giant ones. Are the Den Den Mushi remnants of the Void Century? I think that would be pretty cool. And I think that's very in line with Oda. Oda has said before, the way he does foreshadowing is that he'll go back and reread the series and look for things that like haven't quite been explained, you know? And then be like, oh, guess what? And I think that's very, very clever because it not only gives you a really good, tight sense of continuity that people keep getting that really exciting feeling of like, oh my god, this explains something I'd been wondering about for like 100 chapters. But it also frees you to put just kind of weird stuff in the series scattered throughout, knowing that maybe someday you'll come back for it, you'll pick it up again, and you'll kind of thread that link. Something like the Den Den Mushi is just this genius little piece of world building that allows for so many plot conveniences of people being able to call each other or broadcast images or intercept calls or do any number of things. But because they're so unexplained, there was never, the need to have any kind of like rhyme or reason or consistency or coherency with them. But now you can have that like, oh yeah, all along, that was ancient Void Century technology. I don't know. Let's see. I'm super excited. I think we're going to learn a lot. So that's supposed to mean, long in the past, there used to be a futuristic city just like this one. Only in theory, as far as I know. Here we see some citizens of Egghead Island wandering about. Interesting. So much a man who gave his life for archaeology and brought back his kingdom's existence to light. Timeline matches up with a certain period in which a certain machine discovered all sorts of energy produced. Ooh, and then Robin hits them with the Void Century question. Good. Calling it out by name, as if we didn't already know. How much do we know exactly? And this is a great question because we also don't know. I was talking to a friend about One Piece. She was coming with us to see the movie. And I was kind of just giving broad strokes of the plot because, you know, she just kind of wanted to come along because it's like anime movie, but she hasn't watched or read One Piece before. She only kind of knew the basics about it. And I was saying that the way they do lore in One Piece is really interesting because you have Robin, who's extremely invested, extremely interested, extremely knowledgeable and skilled at learning this stuff. But nobody else in the crew cares as much. Some of them definitely do care to an extent, and serendipitously, they've gathered a lot of the more invested crew members here and now, which is nice. But Luffy doesn't really care. He doesn't really understand at all, I think. So we have so many episodes where Robin hears something from someone, or she finds a poneglyph and reads it, and has been accumulating all this knowledge. But because she's not the focalized character, and because she's never going to explain it to the focalized character, who's usually Luffy, we don't know what the heck she's learning. We don't even know what she learned back on Ohara, right? They've managed to keep her character so cryptic on this subject even to this point that we only learn the most immediately relevant things, you know, and everything else is like the vaguest of hints. So this is exciting not just to know what Vegapunk knows, but to even understand what Robin knows. Ooh. You know about this? Painfully for you to remember, hometown of Ohara was leveled by the Navy's Buster Call 22 years ago, after all. Hard to discover the existence of that particular kingdom. Yeah, we kind of knew that they had been researching specifically this kingdom. Void Century, as it's called, is a history of war between this extremely advanced civilization of the past and a group of 20 kingdoms, which of course is the foundation of the Celestial Dragons and the modern world government. 20 kingdoms won the war, later developed a world government creating the world that we know today. In order to ensure that the ideals of that ancient kingdom cannot be passed down, they erased all traces of it from history. Good, good. Everybody freaking out. Very good that these people are the ones here. Not Zoro, who would just take a swig and be like, okay. Not Luffy, who would just kind of be over there like picking his nose and playing around. Does that mean that everyone who's learned about this will be eliminated? Yeah, they also have the cowards division of Usopp and Nami. Who, oh man, I don't know, just like the persistence of the character traits, that they didn't kind of get just washed out through the necessities of the plot and stuff. Like Robin's crypticness, that she still has mysteries, that we still don't understand exactly what she knows. Here, just it reminds me so much of when they first went up against Crocodile, and Nami and Usopp, it finally dawns on them that, oh, a warlord of the sea is like after us now, and they immediately just want to quit the crew. Like, it's still like, obviously the characters have developed so much, but like just the fact that they can still have these like character beats, I think, is so good. If Ohara is indeed wiped out over this theory, wouldn't that mean the government has essentially admitted that it is true? Your status, can you learn the truth straight from the government? If you with the government at all, the result would be the same. Even I would be eliminated for speaking about it. Okay. So, I assume Vegapunk's saying all of this because he assumes that he is very secure. No one is spying on them. No one is listening in. It won't get back to CP0 or whoever that he snitched. I like that he's also uncertain. I like that this is so mysterious and so forbidden, and the eradication has been so thorough, that we're not encountering a character who just knows everything, right? Vegapunk knows some things that we don't. Robin knows some things that we don't. They're going to feel each other out on what can we learn from one another. But neither of them are really that certain about anything. I like that. That there's no one grand arbiter of the mystery who's just going to be like, here you go. How did you learn about the Ancient Kingdom? All the text, the library that Ohara compiled, it's all. The will of Ohara still lives. The events of that day shocked the world. Starting a single name. Only a little girl left alive. Fanatical sect of scholars seeking to overturn the world government itself. I like that Vegapunk was like, this might be painful for you to hear. And you can tell it is really paining Robin to hear all of this again, but several months after it happened, I took a trip to the charred remains of Ohara. I'd known the great archaeologist Dr. Clover in life. Thought it appropriate to pay my respects to his memory. Nice, that makes sense. I like that these two extremely learned men had a friendship or something. That's nice. Seems realistic. Adventurer obsessed over the Void Century and traveled the world in search of rare texts. Whoa, we didn't know that. He used to be like basically a pirate. Broke out of prison 10 whole times. He was the most famous archaeologist in the world. Other scholars were drawn to him as his quest. Ohara became a sacred land for archaeology. Okay, this makes sense. Because I never really understood, like, was Ohara, like, there was the scholars of Ohara and then there was, like, the townsfolk of Ohara. And I didn't know if it was just the Oharan culture that, turned these people into archaeologists and instilled this rebellious will and stuff in them. But it makes more sense that people were coming from outside to form this little colony. And that would also explain, like, why the rest of the townsfolk were very, very skittish of them and very skeptical, seeing them come in and on excursions and stuff. Set foot on Ohara, where even the tree of knowledge had been burnt to the ground. What I saw stunned me. Is this... Look at this tall, bushy fellow. Is that what Vegapunk used to look like before the body splitting? Huh? What the heck? What a weird character design. Maybe we'll see more in a flashback. Because there was, like, another shot of Vegapunk, right? Where he's, like, standing over Kuma, and this was, like, the first depiction of him, but it was, like, very abstract and stuff. And he had this, like, tall-ass head. Right? I don't know. Am I crazy? Did I remember that right? Ooh, that's right. They put the books in the lake. Dude, I forgot about that. Because nothing ever came of that. And that happened, like, a decade before the main story even started or whatever. I thought that was it. What's it called? Burned down the island around them, the scholars of Ohara made their final stand and died protecting the fortune they wished to leave behind for the future. Ignorant soldiers would not have the ability to recognize the value of what they were seeing. Ohara won. When I understood what had happened, it left me helpless to stop the tears from coming. That's right. Oh man, I really like this. Because this is, of course, one of the most powerful emotional moments in the whole series, I think, is Robin's flashback. And I always think that when mangaka revisit these really touchstone legacy-building moments, they're playing with fire, right? Like, the chance for you to mess it up somehow, that had, like, one additional scene or something that just kind of sullies it a little bit, is like kind of, it's really brutal. And I think it does a lot to like ruin the overall quality of the series. Let me give you an example. Do you remember early in Naruto, there's that arc where they have to protect the construction of the bridge from those like ninja assassins? I think their names are like Haku and Zabusu or something along those lines. Whatever. It's a really, really good arc. I really think early Naruto is fantastic. There's some really great battles. There's some really great kind of discussion on like what it means to be a ninja, what it means to have this level of servitude. The ninja assassin are like willing to sacrifice their lives for their cause. Naruto and Sasuke are like reckoning, like this is the life that we're getting into. Really great fight scenes, really emotional. Both of them die, and they move on. It's the end of the arc. Doesn't really factor in again. It's just this really nice early standalone arc, okay? Then, some 400 chapters later, there's this huge, crazy war between all of the bad guys and all of the good guys, essentially. Okay, that's kind of standard endgame shonen stuff. And one of the things the bad guy does is resurrect the dead. And suddenly, these two ninja assassins, way, way, way back from that arc, are back. And they're, like, talking to each other and, like, reconciling. And there's kind of, like, twists that, deep down, I really felt like blah, blah, blah. I don't even remember exactly what happens. Because because my brain is blocking it out because it was like bad. And it wasn't just bad because Naruto at that time kind of got a little sloppy and phoned it in a little IMO, but it was bad because it was like undoing. It felt like it was desecrating the legacy of that earlier really good arc. So it's like that. I think you got to be like a delicate touch if you're gonna retouch on these like famous incidents. And here, I think there's a big risk as well. That if we found out, oh shit, dude, Robin's mom is alive! No, that'd be bad. That'd be bad. Oh shit, dude, they had some like ancient technology and they turned it into like a hologram and Ohara's like actually still there or something. Stupid. But no, what it was, all they're going to do, I guess I should read a little further and make sure this is the case, but I'll put the stakes down here. That Oda will do a good job if all he does is really highlight that when Robin's mom was like, I can't go with you, it's more important that I stay here and try to save the books, that she was right, you know? Because at the time, we kind of knew that, right? Like, we kind of got where Robin's mom was coming from. And the tragedy was, like, little baby Robin just can't understand. But now, for Robin to really understand what it was that her mom did, and how important that is for, like, the fate of the entire world, and revisiting these lines, now seeing the full ramifications of them... Oh, it's chills. It's... Oh. That's right. Ohara fought against the world. And this is it. Ohara won. Oh. As you suspected, Ohara uncovered the existence of the ancient kingdom. See, then it is the truth. Okay. Truth is, encountered quite a combination of people that day. Ooh, okay. What in the world? So this is what Vegapunk used to look like? A dude with like a giant tongue and a huge head covered in this weird scuffy hair? What? And now he just looks like this... Well, now he looks like 6 different things, but the seemingly main one looks like this badass Daft Punk motherfucker. Okay, I can understand why he upscaled a little bit. I guess it was you. Thanks to that head of yours. So giants were extracting books from the lake. Okay. The way the pagination here splits up the speech bubbles is a little awkward, but okay, sure. So Dragon is also here to pay his respects to Dr. Clover, of course, knowing the value of what Ohara was doing. What does he know about the Void Century? We have no clue. And this is the former Dr. Vegapunk, the director at the time of the Punk Hazard Lab. Trotting across the globe, didn't he? The idea tried to destroy the world. Bad joke of a cover-up. So those giants too, they're not thieves. I already looked into it. They've come from Elbaf, it seems, and they know what those books down there are worth. The captain was a strange man, all covered in bandages. Okay. So Elbaf had a lot of different pirate crews, right? Like, the ones at Little Garden weren't the only ones. And Elbaf is also in a very unique situation. It's sort of like Wano, that it was never part of the world government. It always stood in kind of silent opposition. Okay. Hara gave their lives to save this asset of humanity. Can't let it be erased from history. I can't get over Vegapunk's design. It's so ridiculous. I like that they both bought flowers. It just kind of seems almost like silly. I don't know. It's like flowers. Your whole island got wiped out. That your world government didn't figure it out. I'm sick to hear the news that you're a government lapdog now. You're too good to join our freedom fighters. Impoverished military force like you. So this is very early days of the Revolutionary Army. So I want us to a fault. Government is a massive organization. Within the Navy, in particular, many reasonable people to be found. Don't lose sight of the gold dragon. This one really shook me. See, I can't. Why he look like that though? Why he's so goofy? Crime of speaking their mind. Cruel, unfair force that is a law. Powerless academics was obliterated by extreme violence. I'll create a military force that can actually fight back. Before that year had ended, he had joined with Imperial Vakanov and Bartholomew Kuma to create the Revolutionary Army. Wild. Ohara really won. Ohara influenced not only Vegapunk in some way that we can't even understand yet. We don't even know what he knows, but we know that he was deeply moved by this sacrifice. It influenced Dragon to create the Revolutionary Army. And now I realize it influenced Elbaf. Who knows what the heck Elbaf has cooking? I feel like they think on the long term. They're not eager to go to war with the government or anything, but they have an extremely sizable military force. And they do stand in opposition to the world government's ways. Whoa, my brain is overflowing. Why did Kuma help us? Why did you make him a cyborg? Yeah, we gotta understand the Kuma story arc better still too. Not allow the government to discover that Ohara's library still lives. Personal interest, I traveled to Elbaf in secret, read all the books that they rescued. In other words, all the mysteries of the world that Ohara deciphered are right here in my brain. I've carried on the great work of researching them. That's so badass, dude. Oh, the Saul! Oh, of course. That's what's up. Oh, the bandaged man is Jaguar T. Saul, or D. Saul, obviously. Okay, yeah, so he came back. He betrayed the Navy. He was kicked out of the Navy. He escaped capture. He went back to Elbaf. He formed a crew. He came back and got the books. That's how they knew what was up. Oh, I get it. Dude, Saul. In the end, Saul is like so low-key important to everything in the plot. No wonder he's a D. Giant captain, his name was Saul, wasn't it? Oh, see, this is good. This is like just that light touch on the flashbacks, not doing anything that would mess with people's emotional connection to that moment. But the revelation that Saul is still alive, Robin tearing up with happiness. Simply engaged in all areas of study. It's the nature of a scholar. Cannot release you, but you may come with me. I have something to show you. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, I don't know. This is really, really nice. Because, like, I was talking about, okay, yeah, the way they did this is the sort of triumph of Ohara that maybe was implied. Now you can understand the full ramifications of it. And it just gives such beautiful catharsis to that moment. But now there's, like, an emotional side, too. It's not just for the plot significance, it's just for the emotional catharsis of, like, Robin, your savior, is still alive. That lovable giant is still out there somewhere, and I'm sure we'll see him again. Something to show you. Dude, imagine in the end, what if Saul becomes such a major character? What if Saul leads an army of giants in some final battle against the world government? And then you think back to that flashback and you're like, wow. But there, she. It's like Oda set him up so much to be this important, this wonderful. Okay, meanwhile, They're trying to revive the ancient robot. Shouting random garbage at it. Go robot. Go Robonosuke. There's something very subtle in One Piece, which is that after every big arc, Luffy is like low-key influenced by the place he was just in. And it's never like highlighted and it's never like a plot element, but he just do be spouting out garbage that he overheard on the previous island. So that he calls it Robonosuke. Because he's just like, that's what things are called. Oh, but it is working? I request our help. Whoa, this is like the old Vegapunk. Did I say someone get twisted while I was warping? Dragon Son, aren't you? I knew you're here. Whoa. So this is the OG Vegapunk. Who I see now. I get it now. It's Einstein! It's the famous Einstein sticking out his tongue picture. That's why Vegapunk has a huge friggin' tongue. That's why his hair is so goofy. I get it now that he's old. He's got like the liver spots on his face and stuff. I get it. Alright. I love this design. I really love this design. The flashback Vegapunk, I'm like, this is freaking crazy. But old Vegapunk, I'm like so in for it. Smartest man in the world. The Navy Special Science Group leader. So how does this person relate to all the other Vegapunk clones and distributions and stuff? This one seems so hapless. Not fit to be in charge of anything. Okay, alright. Okay. I request our help. Okay. Let's look forward to the next chapter. I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. See you then.